video. I'm also gonna share the screen now. So we'll have class exactly up to 9:20 today. Where's my share screen? And in case you guys don't understand me or are having trouble, like following me, then just type to me in the chat box or on the WhatsApp. All right, and participate now and then with a yes or no, maybe yeah, when by turning on your microphone. Okay, so when I ask you questions, or when I'm just like yes or no, you just like answer me. Okay, it always helps. Can you guys see my screen? Hello? Can you guys see my screen or not? No answers? Okay, please also answer to the microphone as well, right? Because it's important to have that kind of participation, especially my registered students. Okay, please be active. Just watch out for the chat, watch out for the telegram message, just be active, okay? That's just how online classes work. So online क्लासमा त्यस्तो नगर्यो भने त्यो के पनि त्यो हुँदैन, it's meaningless, right? If you guys are not participating, because it's very different from the physical class. So online क्लासमा स्टुडेन्टहरुको एकदमै धेरै रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटी हुन्छ है, because you guys can be out there, I don't know, yeah, you can be talking to someone, maybe you are talking on phone to someone, I can't tell. Okay, so it's up to you guys, have to be more responsible for the online class, all right? Okay, uh I'm gonna put this down. Now let me give a brief introduction of myself. I'm gonna keep everything brief and then jump to the class materials right away. All right. All right. So my name is Suyog Shrestha. I studied my BA from Bard College, which is an American liberal arts college. Okay, so this is a very specific kind of school, and I'm a freelance tutor mostly. I tutor lots of different subjects. My major was in economics and mathematics. My school was very writing intensive, so I guess that is where I learned my writing skills. And you can also take me as a coach if you are diligent about your work. Then I'm actually like very positive about it, right? If you're not really working on your own, then I guess don't really focus on that, right? I mean, I do give you like instructions on how to overcome your negative tendencies regarding the whatever you're working on, right? Especially the PT and IELTS. um okay, so another important point is, let's clarify a few expectations from the class, is that it really depends on your level. Okay, so where you're at. If right now, if you're to take a mock test, if you have a small level, then you need to follow the instructions that I've given, and which mostly means practicing a lot. Okay, so my instructions means I'll give you a certain introduction to the class, and for certain questions, I give you techniques, right? For other questions, it's more about figuring out your own way. Okay, so the purpose of this class is to get introduced to the subject, and then when you practice on your own, depending on where you are at, you will reach this level. Okay, and that requires at least 1 month to 2 months of practice, depending on how diligent you are. Okay, so if you are a 46 to 55, you can definitely score a 76 to 83. If you are 23 to 28, you can score a 46 to 55 only, right? So you really need to check where you are at. Okay, and generally this happens after 2 weeks of the class. When I finish introducing everything, you guys need to take a mock test, and then you can realize where you can reach after a month. Okay, so further clarifications are, generally if they're like less than 5 students, I tend to finish the class within 2 weeks, which happened for my current group of students, because there were only two of them. So I mean, I've already finished introducing like most of the topics. So I guess the best I will do is for the next few days for my like registered students, I'm gonna explain a few things. I'm gonna give them time for practice, but it's mostly about practicing on their own from now onwards, right? And getting feedback from me. And if I finish classes in less than 2 weeks, then I tend to give my individual sessions every week for up to 30 minutes for 2 weeks. So that means Jamuna and Ganesh, you guys are eligible for 30 minutes of individual sessions every week. So you need to contact me and figure out when to schedule that. All right. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. So that's 30 minutes every week for 2 weeks. That means 2 30-minute sessions. And one of these sessions, individual sessions, is equivalent to at least 3 or 4 group sessions, right? Because you will be receiving complete individual attention. And when there is a lot of group, maybe let's say there's like 10 students, and I've had classes where I've had to teach even like 15 or 20 students, I tend to finish the class within 3 weeks. Okay, that's because I'm introducing the subjects in a clear and concise manner. Okay, I don't really like to waste my time in the just explaining like again and again a lot of things that are not necessary. All right, and just taking up the time just for the sake of taking classes, right? I guess someone new showed up, Saku, but they need to connect with the mic. So let me tell in the WhatsApp. I'm not sure who this person is. I'm just gonna send the chat to this person. All right, you guys can see that in an online class, when there's a name called Saku, I cannot really tell who this person is, right? So it's important to have your proper name online, okay? It's important to not hide your identity. It's sort of useless, yeah, especially in a class. If you hide your identity, it doesn't work, okay? So these are the few things and few benefits of taking classes with me. Uh, when I'm in the mood, I just like speaking in English normally. Okay, so maybe out of 7 days of 5 days of classes of per week, I speak Nepali and English combined for like 3 days. But some of the days, I just like to speak in English. Okay, because it's very important for you guys to be listening to someone who speaks good English, right? One of the reasons why we haven't learned English that well is because we haven't had people who speak the English that well in our lives, right? So that is the benefit. So you learn the pronunciation. And another thing is what you can expect from the class is that you can get a detailed feedback in writing, which we'll be doing that today as well. That will be one of the most common things that you can encounter in my class. Okay. And there's a lot of reasons why I do a lot of writing in the class is because I think, and in my assessment and in assessment of a lot of experts, if you can write well, you can do the reading well, and you can do the some of the sections in the listening require certain skills that you can improve easily by writing well. Okay, because writing well, yeah, makes you be able to think clearly about certain things. All right. And another thing with the writing is, so that's a 3 week class. You can write things every day and send it on the group, but for like 4 weeks you can send me 4 writings samples per week. All right, and then after that you can send me 1 writing sample per week for up to 1 week. Okay, so do you guys understand this? Richa, Alisa, and who's that? Saku, he left, I guess, because he didn't really know how to
Yes,
connect.
sir.
Yeah, so you guys can send me 4 writing samples every week. Okay, so this is the most unique thing about this class and the most important benefit you'll receive, if there is any one particular unique benefit, because people don't really generally edit your writings. Okay, so generally चाहिँ क्लासमा लेख्ने हो, त्यसपछि सक्यो, कसले हेर्छ हेर्दैन थाहा हुँदैन होइन. सो हाम्रो क्लासको वान अफ द बेनिफिट भनेको र युनिक कुरा भनेको यही हो, सबसे इम्पोर्टेन्ट है. इफ यु गाइज आर diligent, then you just send me writings every week, 4 things, and I'll send you detailed feedback. Right. So now a few other things, okay, which I want my registered students as well as students who are just what do you call it, uh, trial classes students to understand as well. So the purpose of the trial class is to find out if the teacher is suitable for you or not, right? That's the purpose of the trial class. And mind you guys, okay, so this is the only trial class that I'm allowing, only one class. The reason is we have a lot of trial class students coming up and then they never join. Okay, so I expect people to be responsible, and I know that in our case, in our context of Nepal, people tend to be very irresponsible. Okay, and in a lot of cases, we Nepalese just require things to be strict, right? There is a lot of chaos in our country, and it's almost like in our blood. We're extremely irresponsible. We don't show up on time, right? So that is some of the things that we need to improve on. That means someone like me, who I want to increase the virtue of like responsibility, self responsibility. I want you guys, so I guess the new trial students today in this class, to really make a good judgment, okay? And you can even look at this recording. I'll send you a recording. So instead of coming requesting for another trial class, you just watch the recording and figure out if I'm the right teacher for you or not, okay? But there are a few things. I want to give you a few guidelines, right? बिकज हामी के गर्छौँ नेपालमा भन्दाखेरि हामी क्लास पढ्न जान्छौँ, ब्याचलर्स पढ्छौँ, लैमा पढिरहेको हुन्छ, के सब्जेक्ट पढाएको छौँ, किन पढाएको छ, we have no idea. That's generally how it works, right? We do the same thing with masters. People go for masters, do the entrance, do this subject, do this subject. They have no clue why they're doing that subject. That's just how it works, right? That means we just don't have a good training in like what to expect from our classes, what to expect from our teacher, right? And even when you find a good teacher, you're not really able to tell. So whether you take the class with me or not, so मसँग लिए पनि नलिए पनि पछि पछि पनि जज गर्नको लागि यो कुराहरू जज गर्नु होला. एउटा त टिचरको proficiency you need to check, right? So whatever subject they are studying and where they studied this from, right? So कताबाट पढेको छ टिचरले, कतिको proficient छ, you need to be able to judge that, right? And another thing is, how much are they able to explain to you, right? Okay, so that means यो चाहिँ अलिकति गाह्रो हुन्छ जज गर्न, because you can't really tell, but still, right, this is very important, right? Teacher like also some people are really good in something, right, but they can't really help. So you will need to understand that, okay? So one of my, I think, interesting things is that मलाई जे आउँछ, I've always been able to explain to people. I just need some time. But whatever I learned, I don't know a lot. मैले धेरै कुरा एकदमै, I haven't done PhD any subject, right? But whatever I studied, if you sit with me, मैले bachelor's लेभलको economics पनि तपाईँहरूलाई एक वर्ष कति हुन्छ, 6 महिना 5 महिना पढाएर I can teach you everything, okay? So that's what I've been like good at, okay? And another thing is someone who clarifies expectations, right? Someone who clarifies expectations. What that means is the teacher needs to really point out early on what to expect from the class, right? What you can expect from them and what is going to be available for you, right? It's like you go to the restaurant, if they don't have a menu, like is that useful? What do you guys think, Alisa and Richa especially? Restaurant ma जानुभयो, menu नै छैन अरे, so will you order the food? Okay, Alisa, Richa, please answer.
Yes, sir.
If there is no
Sir, okay.
if there is no menu, will you answer? Will you like order the food? If there
No,
if
I
there's no price tag, right? If they don't really tell you what's gonna come
no
in,
no no no.
yeah, exactly. So the same thing, right? So someone, they need to really clarify the expectations, okay? And I've told you what the expectations from the class are. तपाईँको लेभल अनुसारको इम्प्रुभमेन्ट हुन्छ. अनि त्यो इम्प्रुभमेन्ट पनि 2 हप्तापछिको एउटा मक टेस्ट लिइसकेपछि है. सो मेरो अहिलेको पालिको रेजिस्टर स्टुडेन्टको मक टेस्ट लिने बेला भयो. उहाँहरूको लेभल अनुसार मात्र इम्प्रुभ हुन्छ, त्योभन्दा बेसी 81 इम्प्रुभ भन्ने हुँदैन. द्याट्स वान पोइन्ट. एन्ड अनदर एक्सपेक्टेसन इज द्याट the best thing you can get from my class is मेरो class भनेको, it's not like I'm going to give you tips and techniques, that's for sure, right? So you apply that and that's where you get the results. A lot of it is diligence on your part, okay? So मेहनत मात्र गरे tips and techniques पाएन भने पनि हुँदैन. अर्को कुरा भनेको, another expectation that you can have from me is I'll definitely, this is my commitment. So whatever happens to me, like if I'm sick or whatever, like you send me 4 writings per week, I'll edit that for you, okay, for the first month. For the second month, you send me another writing per week that will also be edited, right? So that is what it is. Now we'll look at the PT classes. And for my registered students, Jamuna and Ganeshi, whatever I explain, okay, please don't take this as a boring thing that I keep on repeating. I'm sure like you guys learn new things, right? Because you are hearing me speak, okay? So राम्रो English बोलेको सुन्नु पनि, एउटै कुरा सुने पनि धेरै राम्रो. It's better than hearing someone speak bad English, okay? So that's very important point. Now today, we have covered a lot of topic for my new students, and there is something called the Alpha PT in the PT section. And if you don't know anything about PT, speaking, writing, reading, or listening, one it's our section, and each scored 90 points. Okay, so 90 in speaking, 90 in writing, 90 reading, and 90 in listening. That's the full marks. Okay, and if you see on the screen, there are 5 question types for speaking, right? Writing ma duita cha. In reading, there are 5 question types, and in listening, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 question types for the listening section. एन्ड योभन्दा बाहिर क्वेसन टाइपबाट क्वेसन आउँदैन. सो हामीले के गर्नुपर्छ, वाट्स द अब्जेक्टिभ अफ द पिटी क्लास? द अब्जेक्टिभ अफ द पिटी क्लास इज टु बी फमिलियर विथ इच अफ दिस. सो माई जब इज टु हेल्प यु बिकम फमिलियर. सो तपाईँले आफै पनि गर्न सक्छ, सबैले सक्छ. So for the introduction, diligent student don't need to come to the class at all, actually, right? If they're really मेहनती छ भने मसँग क्लास पनि पढ्न आउनु पर्दैन, एक्सेप्ट टु गेट फिडब्याक अन राइटिङ एन्ड टु गेट फिडब्याक अन द ओभरअल टेस्ट. त्यसको लागि स्पेसल फिडब्याक भन्ने सेक्सन मसँग जोइन गरे पनि हुन्छ. त्यसको लागि सर्टेन कस्ट पर्छ, बट नट द फुल प्राइस, राइट? बिकज इट्स ओन्ली गेटिङ द फिडब्याक, विच इज अल्सो एक्सट्रिमली इम्पोर्टेन्ट एन्ड भ्यालुएबल. एन्ड द वे इट वर्क्स इज, if they are so diligent that they can figure out the basic introduction on their own, they're generally willing to pay more than the normal students for feedback. मैले त्यस्तो पाएको छु है. सो कोही स्टुडेन्टले चाहिँ आफैले चाहिँ एउटा एउटा कुरा पढ्यो, मैले जे क्लासमा इन्ट्रोड्युस गराउँछु उनीहरूले आफै सिक्न सक्छन् भने उनीहरू नै फेरि अब फिडब्याकको लागि मात्रै भयो भने जसले नर्मल स्टुडेन्टले पे गरेको भन्दा एक्स्ट्रा पे गर्ने रेडी हुन्छन्, बिकज दे भ्याल्यु एजुकेसन. ओके, सो त्यो पनि बुझिरहनु पर्छ है तपाईँले. सो दे भ्याल्यु एजुकेसन, दे भ्याल्यु गुड टिचर्स, दे भ्याल्यु गेटिङ नलेज, एन्ड दे आर विलिङ टु पे मोर. ओके, सो इट्स रियली इन्ट्रेस्टिङ, या. The kind of dynamics we have between teachers and students, and the way the students mind works, right? Okay, so हामीले चाहिँ लास्ट 10-12 डेजमा मेरो रेजिस्टर्ड स्टुडेन्ट क्लासमा यो सबै गऱ्यौँ. एउटा एक्जाम्पल गऱ्यौँ, धेरै त गरेनौँ, तर मैले इन्ट्रोड्युस गरेँ र सर्टेन मैले टिप्स एन्ड टेक्निक्स पनि दिएको छु. फर इक्जाम्पल, रिडिङहरूको लागि कतिवटा मैले साँच्चीकै दिन बाँकी छ, बट देयर इज लट अफ टिप्स, फर इक्जाम्पल अन दिस डकुमेन्ट. ओके, so if you look at this now, I want to review the tips for the listening section. Okay, so that my registered students like really sinks in. Okay, for them it's very important that I do that. Is so listening को धेरैवटा क्वेसन मध्ये सबसे इम्पोर्टेन्ट चाहिँ अब यहाँ पनि छ. यस्ता एउटा फोटो छ यसमा. पिटीमा के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि त्यो सबै क्वेसन टाइपबाट पनि कुन चाहिँ सबसे धेरै मार्क्स आउँछ भन्ने हुन्छ है. सो सबसे धेरै मार्क्स चाहिँ रिपिट सेन्टेन्सलाई भन्ने दिएको हुन्छ, 56 मार्क्स. एन्ड द्याट्स टेस्ट लाइक स्पिकिङ सेक्सनको मोड्युलमा पर्छ. सो बेसिकली वाट एभर यु से यु रिपिट, वाट एभर यु हियर इन द अडियो यु हेभ टु रिपिट द्याट. ओके, एन्ड दिस इज आई थिङ्क a little easy as well. This is the highest marks and easy. Pronunciation गर्नमा अलिकति हामीलाई गाह्रो हुन्छ. नेपालीको प्रोनाउन्सिएसन कम्प्युटर पिटी एआईले चेक गर्ने भएको अलिकति मान्दैन, राइट? बट नन द लेस it's a lot of like memorization based thing हुन्छ हैन. So the more you practice memorization from this particular website, the more you learn. Okay, so 4-5 वटा क्वेसन प्र्याक्टिस गर्ने बित्तिकै I think out of 56, if you have a okay English language, I think you can score a 40-45. Okay, so that's very significant. Another is something called write from dictation. It has a 55 marks, and 51.5 and 50. So these 4 things are the most important ones. अनि रिडिङमा fill in the blanks drop down भन्ने एउटा हुन्छ, which is as a 50 marks in total. So these are the 4 primary things. So if you can really focus on these, time छैन भने, especially Jamuna. Okay, so you practice other things as well, I understand, because you have class test coming soon, but you really focus on these. All right, Jamuna? So the reason I'm doing this is also to help you show that, right? See, if you can score, this is speaking, listening, speaking and reading. Okay, so there is no writing is not involved here, although this also includes some marks of writing. But overall, if you really focus on these, you're going to score way more than a normal student. Okay, so these kind of techniques is what I mean by techniques. Okay, so PT मा चाहिँ टेक्निक्स भनेको यस्तो हो कि एक्जाम चाहिँ एकदमै म्याथमेटिकल किसिमले अरेन्ज गरेको छ. आइएल्समा यस्तो छैन. आइएल्स इज लाइक ओके सिम्पल, यु नो, 9 आउट अफ 9, 9 आउट अफ 9, 9 आउट अफ कुनको वे, एउटाको वेट धेरै हुने, एउटाको थोरै हुने हुँदैन. पिटीमा चाहिँ यस्तो वेट हुन्छ, त्यही पिटीको म्याथमेटिकल एनालिसिस ब्रेकडाउन गरेर नै हामीले प्र्याक्टिस गर्नुपर्छ है. सो समन हु इज वर्क्स स्मार्टली लाइक द्याट, दे क्यान रियली डु वेल, एन्ड द्याट्स माई जब एज वेल, टु इन्ट्रोड्युस यु टु वाट इज इम्पोर्टेन्ट, वाट इज नट इम्पोर्टेन्ट, राइट? सो अनदर भनेको यहाँदेखि यहाँसम्म 15 यतिवटा छ होइन. यिनीहरूमा फोकसै नगरेर यति मात्र गर्छु भने पनि हुन्छ है, त्यो पनि गर्छ. तर राइट एसे त 10 मार्क्स मात्र हो. बट वाइ डु आई फोकस अन राइट एसे? मैले अघि पनि भने, राइट एसे, if you can write this essay well, you can do fill in the blanks well, you can do this well, you can do summarize written text well, you can read the lecture well, you can do everything well, except for spoken you need practice. But spoken ma pani content, you can really work on the content. Okay, you may not be able to pronounce it well, but you know what the content should be. Do you guys now see why write essay is very important? Yeah, and why I focus on that? किन
Yes,
राइट
sir.
एसे एसे लेख्ने बेला एकदम क्लियरली सोचेर मात्र लेख्न सक्छ कि सो यो सबै कुरा गर्न सक्छ एसे लेख्न आयो भने द्याट्स वाइ इट्स एक्सट्रिमली इम्पोर्टेन्ट त्यही कारणले गर्दाखेरि मैले 4वटा हप्ताको 4वटा एसे लेख्न पाउँछ मेरो क्लासमा भनेर आई गिभ द्याट बेनिफिट राइट एन्ड आई थिङ्क आई विल अलाउ द्याट इभन इफ आई हेभ लाइक 20 स्टुडेन्ट्स इन द क्लास ओके that's just my passion. Yeah, I want people to improve their writing because I love writing. Okay, I write a lot and then I want people to write, right? Okay, so I guess I was trying to introduce you to some of the tips, review some of the tips for the section to show handout, right? So for example, if you look at the thing called select missing word, what do I have written? I've given that give the least time for practice since it is practically meaningless in terms of overall score. है एकदम कम प्र्याक्टिस गर्नु पर्यो किनभने एकदम कम मार्क्स आउँछ है एन्ड इट अल्सो टेस्ट वाट इज इम्पोर्टेन्ट टु अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड एन्ड देयरफोर इज अ टफ सेक्सन सो यो गाह्रो सेक्सन हो त्यसैले यो गाह्रो नै छ अब हाइलाइट इनकरेक्ट राइट फ्रम डिक्टेसन सबसे इम्पोर्टेन्ट हो यो है सो म यो एकदम इम्पोर्टेन्ट भएकोले आज वी हेभ अ न्यू ट्रायल क्लास स्टुडेन्ट्स एज वेल सो आई वान्ट टु सो example from this, right? And you guys can write in the chat box, okay? Especially the registered students, like so. Make your chat box ready. Something wrong with the internet? Okay. You guys can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's something wrong with this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, there's something wrong with this like website. यो
Yes,
वेबसाइटबाटै
sir.
यो वेबसाइटबाटै हामीले प्र्याक्टिस गर्नुपर्छ बट यो मेरो इन्टरनेटको प्रब्लम भन्दा पनि यो वेबसाइटको लगइनमा के इस्यु आएछ आज किनभने एउटा एक्जाम्पल एक दुईवटा एक्जाम्पल आई वान्ट द न्यू स्टुडेन्ट्स टु सी ओके बिकज यु निड टु गेट अ टेस्ट अफ पिटी सो while this website is loading can you tell me Richa, Alisa and Saku what are you guys aiming for? You guys are going for a master's, bachelor's, like what is it? Okay, I guess I will.
Sir, for masters.
So Alisa is going for master's, okay. And where did you do your
Yes,
bachelor's
sir.
here?
From Everest College, Thabatali.
Okay, great. Thapatali. Okay, I used to study in BS Niket in Thapatali when I was small. And Richa, what are you
Okay.
going for?
For bachelor.
You are going for bachelor's. And where did you start your plus two?
Plus two, I know.
के पढ्नु भयो?
I do PTE nursing
You did
from Sankarapur.
you did PCL nursing. Okay, great. Okay, great. I think
Sir.
nurses can do well in PT. I think. Okay. And what about Saku? So what's your name, Saku? Okay, I don't know what that name is. Yeah.
Sir, my full name is Sakuntala Shrestha.
Sakuntala. Okay, great. Okay, so
Yes.
welcome to the class. Okay. You
Yes,
guys,
thank
you
you,
are
sir.
following what I'm saying, Sakuntala? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, so this website is really city very bad today. So let me open another website. Okay, I think I have a free account in another website. The reason I was trying to open the Alpha PT is because it's better generally. I mean, it doesn't have this kind of problems, and also it's good looking, looks well, right? हेर्दाखेरि पनि राम्रो देख्छ अर्को भनेको I have a paid account in that, right? So paid is always better than a free account, but all of them are showing so many issues when I'm trying to record all of this conversation. That's so strange. Do I have Gmail working? Okay, while we wait for this to resolve, because I want to give a demonstration for what writing practice is. So I think we had a question yesterday. I gave my students a question yesterday, and I don't think they all of them have done it. So I want you guys to practice this. Okay, so let's look at this question. All right, it's no big deal. Things happen when we're living in the world. Yeah, so many uncertainties, right? In every other situation, like things keep on happening. So your questions here, right? In recent years, online education is becoming more and more popular. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this phenomena? Yeah, do you guys see this question? Yeah. Question busy also?
No, sir.
If it's
Yes,
very,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
No.
okay,
I
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to ask I guess like I ask you guys. Now first, when dealing with this essay, right, advantages and disadvantages, first you need to know there are different kinds of essays, right? Or five varieties madrasa. They are generally similar in nature. Advantages or disadvantages are, essay is one of the easiest essays. Why? Because generally in PT you just need to write 4 paragraph essays. Okay, so that's just a trend. चारवटा प्याराग्राफको एसे लेखे पुग्छ। चारवटा प्याराग्राफमा इन्ट्रो र कन्क्लुजन। एडभान्टेज र डिसएडभान्टेजले एउटा प्याराग्राफ सी it's already you have an outline. You don't need to do anything to create an outline. Do you guys see that? It's very easy, right? So now you just need to find out advantages that you want to write, disadvantages you want to write, and then intro and conclusion. I think we have done this essay in the past as well, but it's no big deal. Okay, it's always important to keep on rewriting. Always rewrite the same thing. You rewrite the same thing 10 times, you get a perfect score, then only you can move on to another essay. Okay, so now Alisa is going to tell me what is the advantage of online education. So online education is becoming popular. What is the advantage? Alicia, you want to share your
Yes,
opinion?
sir.
Yeah, what is the advantage that the fact that online education is becoming more popular?
Today's people feel more comfortable using
So
their technology.
so
So,
at, so but that's the reason, right, for online education. That's not the
okay.
advantage. I mean, the reason people take online classes is because they feel comfortable over online, right?
Yes.
But what is the advantage though?
Advantages? I don't know.
I mean,
Time save.
saves time. Okay, so in what way? How does it save time?
Time
So
consuming.
yeah, how does it save time? How does it save time? Okay, I'm just gonna answer it because you guys are not answering. It's just that I mean it saves time for transportation, whatever, right? We don't really have to go back and forth, right? So it saves time. That's a big advantage. All right. And another advantage. What do you guys think is another advantage? Is there no another advantage of online education? It just saves time. All right. Jamuna,
yes, sir.
what is another advantage of online education, please? We have done this before, so I at least I want you to speak something on this.
Mhm. Online learning can happen in any place as long as there is there is a device and connectivity.
Okay, yeah. So accessible from any place, right? It means even you
Yeah.
can even like travel to other places, right?
Mhm.
So it is
Yeah.
kind of related to what Sakuntala was saying, but it was we have to be able to write properly, नलेखे भने शकुन्तलाको point मिल्दैन, but it's sort of comfortable as well as accessible, right? Main
Mhm.
point is accessible, but you can also link to comfortable. So I put it as a swine point, but main thing is it's accessible. You can travel anywhere and take classes, so makes it convenient for you to travel around, right? So what are the
Yeah.
disadvantages? What are the disadvantages of online education?
Mhm.
Richa, do you want to say any disadvantage of online
Multi-language.
education?
On the other hand, attending
Sometimes
classes.
it may be a one-way communication.
Yeah, there is no
There
interaction.
will
I
there
know.
won't be
Less.
feedback.
Sorry, they want what?
There won't be feedback.
Right.
One communication.
Feedback.
Yeah, extremely. Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah, no feedback. Right.
Less. Uh,
Yeah, no
being
feedback.
active.
Yeah, that's like one of the biggest issues of online education, right? So that is what I said
And
earlier as well, right?
sometimes there is a network problem.
Okay, yeah, network issues, right? Then you can't really get
Technology
to
issue.
take the class, right? Can't take,
We can't attend physically class.
but that's
No
just what
physical
online.
There may
interaction.
be some problem in understanding all the course.
Yeah, lack of on not on total understanding, right? Not clear understanding. Okay, okay. So I think that's good enough. Okay. So what I want you guys to do is यो हरेक पोइन्टलाई खास चाहे भने यसलाई पनि 5-6 सेन्टेन्स लेख्न सक्छ, यसलाई पनि 5-6 सेन्टेन्स लेख्न सक्छ, ओके हैन? So we can even write 5-6 sentences for this, 5-6 sentences for this, 5-6 sentences for this. Okay, so what I want you to do is I will give you 5 minutes, all of you guys, and then I'm gonna pick up. Okay, so now I guess Alisa, do you want to write advantages or disadvantages? Can you choose, or should I give you one? Make your notebook and pen ready. Okay.
Sir, I'll go for advantages.
Oh, great. Okay, so great. You write advantages, both of this. I'm gonna give 5 minutes. Okay. What about I guess what about Richa? Richa and Sakuntala, please pick one.
I'll take disadvantage.
And Sakuntala.
Sir, I'll take disadvantage.
Okay, great. Now Jamuna and Ganeshi also. What do you want to take, Jamuna?
Yeah, disadvantage
And
or
Ganeshi.
advantage.
गणेशजीले त लेखिसक्नु भएको छ,
Any.
so I will just check his writing. So गणेशजीले लेख्नु परेन है, but if you still want to write, त्यही अघिको लेखेको कुरालाई राम्रो पार्नु है त गणेशजी, हवस् त। तपाईले लेख्नु भएको छ, मैले त एडिट गरिदिन्छु, I'm going to edit it, but you rewrite it before sending it to me again. Okay, how's that?
Okay.
All right, please do that. Okay, sometimes we need to rewrite. I'm going to give 5 minutes, and then you guys just write, and I'm going to, I guess, welcome Ram Krishna ji भन्ने आउनु भएको छ, को मैले को चिनिन। Okay, so you guys start writing. Okay, and the end of the 5 minutes, I'm going to ask you to send me whatever, what do you call it? Send me the photo. Okay.
Sir, photo WhatsApp ma send garne?
WhatsApp, yeah, please send on WhatsApp. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Ram Krishna ji, welcome to the class. We're already in the middle. You started a little late, yeah. Okay, microphone on गरेर बोल्न सक्नुहुन्छ राम कृष्ण जी.
Okay, thank you, sir. आज यहाँ पहिलो दिन हो सर मेरो, यहाँ सरले अहिले लिंक पठाउनु भएको छ, तर म अनफर्चुनेटली म अरु क्लासमा बिजी थिएँ अनि अहिले भर्खर आए सर।
ओके, केही छैन। सो तपाईँ चाहिँ ढिलो बस्नु भएकोले भोलि पनि ट्रायल क्लास, भोलि होइन भोलि नआऊ, बिकज आई रियली निड टु फोकस अन माई अनलाइन स्टुडेन्ट्स। सो अहिले के भइरहेछ हेर्नु होला है, वी आर फोकसिङ अन राइटिङ, एडिटिङ राइटिङ राइट नाउ। उहाँहरूले एसे मलाई पठाउनुहुन्छ, मैले एडिट गर्छु। सो तर भोलि चाहिँ तपाईँ आउन मिल्दैन ट्रायल क्लासमा, किन मैले मेरो यो स्टुडेन्टलाई एकदमै फोकस गर्नुपर्छ दुईजनालाई है। सो भोलि के गर्छु, यु क्यान जोइन बट आई वोन्ट बी गिभिङ अटेन्सन टु यु। ओके, सो इट्स अप टु यु। I'll just be focusing on them, and then after that I'll give another trial class where I can focus on you as well, right?
हुन्छ सर, हुन्छ।
Okay, and त्यसपछि चाहिँ तर अनि एउटा मात्रमा डिसाइड गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ है। Okay, so while they are writing, I'm also going to write certain things, okay? And so you can see me writing and everything, right? All right, please send me the photo over WhatsApp, guys. So जति लेखेको छ लेख्नु भयो, मलाई फोटो पठाउनु होला है. अलिसा, शकुन्तला, Jamuna, Ganeshi, whatever you have, please send me the photo. Meanwhile, let me check if the alpha PD is working. Okay, so alpha PD is working as well. That's great. So next 10 minutes, I'm going to edit Alisa's writing and maybe Shakuntala's writing. And then the next 10 minutes, I'll show you what the write from dictation is and how I'm going to be helpful for that course, right? So please, everyone send me the photo. Sunan Bhairasa, you guys are listening to me? So whatever you have, jati lekha cha tyati, right? Just send me the photo. I haven't received any photo yet, guys. What's going on?
So I have sent on WhatsApp.
Okay, you can send me on
Send in
Telegram actually, because Telegram.
Telegram. Okay.
I didn't really receive it in the. Okay, I received from Jamuna and Alisa and Shakuntala. Do you guys have anything written down?
Yes, sir. I will send you.
Okay, great. So 980876, that's Shakuntala. 9808763911. Who's that? That's Alisa. Okay, that's Alisa sent it. I guess I'm waiting from Shakuntala. के छ जति छ त्यति पठाउनु होला है मैले अब यहाँ अब टाइम दिन मिल्दैन अब
Sir,
I'm just
मेरो
going to start.
63911.
Okay, so I think that's you. Okay, so you sent me, right?
Yes. Rita. China Rita.
So Shakuntala ji Levani, are you gonna send me anything or no? I'm just gonna start, okay? So please, it's fine. It's fine if you are not able to send it, right? Because this is just your first day, no problem. All right, so now let's just look at Alisa's writing and maybe Jamuna's writing as well. So Jamuna wrote what? Advantages. She also wrote advantages. Okay, I wish someone wrote disadvantages. Okay, so now let's look at Alisa's writing. Can you look at the screen? You're writing, Alisa?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so online education is emerging all over. Good sentence. The online education provides much more advantage as it is flexible. Okay, so what's wrong in this sentence? Much more than what? More, better. Okay, so they say lesser, stronger. So comparative word use गर्ने बित्तिकै you need than what? More than what भन्ने question आउँछ. Okay, so त्यसैले यो sentence मिल्दैन. You need to be like, let me rewrite that for you. All right, hold on. फर्स्टमा त्यो द हुँदैन, यो सेकेन्ड सेन्टेन्सको है. मैले फर्स्ट सेन्टेन्सको तपाईको सकेपछि अनलाइन एजुकेसन प्रोवाइड्स lot of, or much more now, instead of much more you can see a lot of advantages as it is flexible, right? And then it helps to save time as well as cost of transportation. Where it is easily accessible from any places to study. It is also easily accessible from any place of study, and it allows, it makes, and one can study from a comfortable place. Okay, so some of your writing was like, I really needed to rewrite it, right? So your last sentence only rewrite it, it wasn't that clear. Okay, so it wasn't that clear, I really had to rewrite it, right? But a few things that I did was, your the, instead of the, I put a remove that and I just say online education, and instead of much more, I wrote a lot of. Yeah, you see the correction, Alisa? Yeah, it helps to
Yes,
save
yes, sir.
time as well as cost of transportation. And then your last को sentence पनि rewrite गरे. So यति मात्रबाट त तपाईको थाहा हुँदैन how your writing is, but I think if you're scoring a, what do you call it, it was around like, I think 46 to 55, definitely your score was around this point. And by just editing this much, okay, I didn't do a lot of editing, I just edited very briefly, right? It wasn't a lot of edits. So मैले अलिकति edit गरेर I think 55, but at least to 65 मा पुग्यो यो score. Okay, so just a little bit of editing and you reach a 65. So that means, when you
Okay.
receive simple edits, you can really achieve 75 to 80s. Okay, and a lot of people struggle with the writing section, and that is the main issue. Like people do well in other section and writing they don't. All right. Oh, I guess Saku
So
sent
there
the
was
photo.
time issues. That's why I couldn't write it properly.
I see. Okay, so I mean, that also comes with practice, right? So if you never get edited,
Okay.
then you'll never be able to write well on time, right? So तपाईँले practice गर्नु होला अनि लेख्न सक्नु होला, तर edit गरेर रहन्छ भने चाहिँ कहिले पनि राम्रो चाहिँ लेख्न सकिन्न, right? You can finish writing in 20 minutes, but you never be able to write well. Okay, so you need this kind of editing, right? So I didn't do a lot of editing, but it was, there was some change, and your score increased by 10 points. All right. So I think Sakuntala sent some writing here. Let's see. Okay. Online education is becoming more popular, but there are difficult to join the class. But it is difficult. You cannot say there are. Okay, this is completely wrong. But it is difficult to join the class because no good internet. No, because of lack of good internet. Right. So we could not clearly hear, and sometimes only one-way combination. So you need to be like, all right. So let me rewrite this as well. Okay. So it's very important to rewrite this. Hold on. So I think, so Sakuntala, you need a lot of work on your writing. Okay, so Alisa's writing was much clearer. So online education is becoming more popular, but it is difficult to join the class because of when there is lack of good internet, right? Internet connection, not connection. Therefore, or thus, right? It can also know similarly it can also be difficult to hear sometimes, and there can be only one-way communication, right? This makes, like, learning, I guess, impossible. Okay, so something like that. So your scoring is like around, maybe 30 or 40 40 range by madrasa. Okay, so you really need to work a lot. And but this is how it's going to work, right? So now it's suddenly jumped from 30 or 40 to at least a 60 or 62 or 60 63. Okay, so even within Alisa's range it reached, but it's not that content is not there. Okay, but the writing and the grammar, everything is like suddenly improved. So this is an example of an editing. So what that means is every 4 weeks you submit me things, I'm going to edit it like this, right? I'm going to edit things for you. I'm going to rewrite at least one paragraph. So 4 paragraph ऐसे छ भने एउटा paragraph ma rewrite गर्छु, अरु paragraph चाहिँ I give comments, right? So that is what I've been doing on my, so this is like the section for the registered like group, and then they send me writings, and that's not always, I mean, they haven't sent me a lot of writings, but for example, so this is an example of me rewriting something. And where's the other example? So I wrote a sample over here. This is an example of rewriting what one of my students wrote. So this is how you learn. Okay, So once you read this, but it's not enough because you have to reread this, okay, and you have to read that on your own. Now we have 3 minutes left for this section. I had allotted up to 9-10 so that we can do the rest 10 minutes at the right for dictation. So that's an example, right? And now what I've written, so in the 5 minutes that you guys were doing that, I wrote an introduction and a conclusion, right? So now let's look at the introduction. So Alisa, please read this out from here, from because. Yeah, because what about the
because of the improvement in technology, online education has become possible. There are platforms like Zoom and Teams which have made video interaction easy. Because of this, online education has become popular. I think there are both advantages and disadvantages to online education.
Okay, so great. Yeah, so I wrote some kind of background, right? So your background ma ke dekhincha bhandakeri, I understand why this question is being raised. Your jun online education ko topic cha kina important cha, why are we discussing about this, that I understand, this background demonstrates that, okay? And this is always the pattern. So to write good essays, all you need to do is in the first 2-3 sentences, you write the background, why that question is being asked. And then the last sentence of the introduction, you just write a conclusion, yes, I think the advantages and both disadvantages. Very simple, right? Or if the question is like, do you agree or disagree? You can be like, I agree, something, 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 right? And in conclusion because the introduction ko last sentence, you write the same thing in the conclusion first sentence, right? Same thing, maybe in a different language, but the same thing. In conclusion, there are both advantages and disadvantages of online education, right? And then another thing that you do to write a very good essay is you need to give a positive direction to the essay. It means, yeah, the government should be government with providing the online education need to be careful that it is accessible to everyone, right? So basically you give a suggestion, all right? So then the conclusion also becomes strong. So conclusion go first sentence, introduction go last sentence, and then some kind of suggestion. Okay, generally the suggestion involves government, the society, the institution, right? So okay, so this was
Sir,
just one example. Okay, so the whose question was it, Jamuna?
sir, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please.
So how many words we have to write in essay?
In the PT, it's like 200 to 300 words. So you cannot write
It,
more
it
than
should be
300
between from
words.
200 to 300.
Yeah, if you write more than 300
Okay.
words, then also you get negative, like it reduces the score. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. And another thing though, okay, so again, write essays doesn't it by itself constitute a lot of score, right? आफैमा त्यति धेरै score दिदैन write essay, but the reason we are writing is एउटा त हामीलाई लेख्न आउँदैन त्यसैले प्र्याक्टिस हुन्छ, अर्को भनेको if you यसरी लेख्न आयो भने automatically you will be able to learn grammar. यसले चाहिँ reading को fill in the blanks, listening को fill in the blanks automatically help गर्छ. That is why we need to write more, okay? That's just how it is. And the reason that I know is because I've studied English language for a long time, right? And you can hear me speak, you can look at my writing quality, right? So what I've written down is like in a matter of minutes. It's not a joke, all right, guys? I could write down a whole PTS in 5 minutes if I want. If I want to write it, I can just keep on typing and I'll finish it in 5 minutes, okay? So just based on my experience, I know that writing really helps. It really helps you, like figure out the answers to other questions. That is why we need to focus on writing. Extremely important. And this is something that you won't get in any other classes, right? It's just not there. They just don't do it, right? Because they don't think writing is important. Okay, so now we're doing what is called a write from dictation. So write from dictation is in the listening section, right? Remember I told you how we saw that in PT there are 4 different sections, and each of these sections, there are different like question types, and we're doing right from dictation
Protective
in the
clothing
listening
must
section.
always be worn in the laboratory.
Right.
Protective
यो सेक्सनमा के हुँदो रहेछ भने चाहिँ right from dictation को 55 marks छ. Yeah, 55 marks, but all you are doing is you're listening to something and typing down the exact sentence. Okay, so please watch it. Just listen to the sentence, all right?
Protective clothing must always be worn in the laboratory.
That's all you do. All right. Do you see that? Yeah, Sakuntala hasn't participated in a while. Sakuntala, are you there? Like you are listening to the class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, because we'll be done in 8 minutes, and this is like the only trial class that I'm allowing. So please, yeah, please participate. Make the best of it. Okay. Yeah. So all you need to do is listen to this. So so Jamuna, like, tell me, right? Because you are the experienced student. Like, so what is important in this section? Tell me, like, what are the things that are important in this section? And
Listening.
what are and how should we do tips? What is that?
Listening.
Listening, of course, listening is important. Otherwise, you can't really write
Yeah.
down. Okay, what else?
And have to note down the first letter of the words.
Yeah, so I didn't do that
Yeah.
because I have enough practice to not do that, right? But you guys,
Mhm.
when you just listen, you just be like, up to lekhe so you guys can write, right? So initial,
Yeah.
protective clothing must always be. You may not get all the. Maybe you forgot the W and E, right? But you just got this. So you missed the W and I. Okay. So what the technique is then? You write down the initial letters of all the words. सुन्दाखेरि त लेख्न सक्छ नि यदि पिसिएमए बिटिएल भन्ने. सो यति लेखेपछि यो बिचबिचको दुईटा नआए पनि you'll have more memory. So that's the main technique over here. Okay. So another important thing though is here, you really need to get your spellings correct. Okay. So if you can't spell the laboratory right, you'll get a deduction in the marks, right? So spelling एकदमै आउनुपर्छ अनि अल्फा पिटीमा spelling practice गर्ने त्यो पनि, which I have shown to my registered students, right?
And if you miss the words, then
you miss the words, then also you'll get
0
partial
point.
credit. You'll get partial credit, right? So partial credit. अर्को भनेको क्याप्स लक पनि कतिको ठाउँमा इम्पोर्टेन्ट हुन्छ. सो मान्छेको नाम आयो भने, ठाउँको नाम आयो भने, you need to write in the upper case.
Capital.
That's also very important. So that means the punctuation is also important. Okay. So that's all you do. Now so that means, if you had like, if someone told me like, I have like PT tomorrow, what should I focus on? I'd be like, focus on this. Why? Because this is like, easy to learn, right? It's very easy to learn. Generally people fail their memory and they don't like get good scores because they to control गर्न सक्दैन. तर यो 500 वटा प्र्याक्टिस गरे नि 2600 वटा क्वेशन टाइप छ अवेलेबल छ यसमा, यो अल्फा पीटीमा. यसमा 500 वटा गरे भने you'll be scoring quite well, out of what is this score? I mean, I guess I deleted that. No, out of the 55, you can get 45.
Yeah.
Okay. At least 45. So that is why I want you guys to focus on this. All right. So now the floor is open for some questions. So especially for the trial class students, right? And tomorrow what's going to happen is, so let me tell that briefly to Ganesh and what is called Jamuna. Okay. So tomorrow what I'm going to do is I have an essay collection book that I compiled. So this I don't really give for free. Okay. This is like my selling thing, right? Because I spend a lot of time creating this, right? There are like 42 or 44 essays in this. And the way it is organized is I've written down the essay, and then there are like main points to each essay. And also there is a vocabulary related to the essay. So why is this important? Because, हामीले word meaning कसरी पढ्छ भन्दाखेरि word meaning गएको छ हैन, but त्यसरी we don't really learn it. It needs to be in a context. So your proliferation भन्ने word छ अनि यहाँ एउटा sentence छ, this sentence is from this essay, right? And then the example sentence is also from like a new thing, but I'm giving 2 examples per word, right? 2 examples per word. One is from the essay, one is from just an example, right? And the same thing, this word is from this essay, and another example, another word. So that's how you build your vocabulary and main points. And the reason this document is very important is because there are like lots of topics, and the online education topic was easy, right? We know what it is about, but sometimes the topic is difficult, then you don't really know what to write on. So instead of like wasting of time trying to research and everything, this book is like a collection of all those ideas that can be found. And for those who take class with me, I don't give it for free, but I give it for half the price, right? So I can share that to my students later on, because Adi Paisa, I sell it to my registered students because it's a valuable thing, and I don't want to be giving it for free, because I know that Nepalese students don't really value things. Okay, so I'm very careful about that. So another thing, what I'm gonna do tomorrow is I'm gonna discuss a lot of these topics. At least 5 or 6 we're gonna discuss tomorrow. Okay, so we'll pick up. And that's why I don't want any trial students in my class, because I want to focus on my old students. Okay, so that's one thing. Now I'm open for questions. I can take questions for next 5 minutes. So please, If you guys have questions, just please ask me, especially the trial ones. Alisa, Sakuntala, you guys have questions?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So in writing from dictation,
Uh-huh.
we need to hear the sentence and we need to write exactly what we hear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you listen to it and then they will give you a few seconds and you need to write exactly what it is, right? And त्यसमा चाहिँ your punctuation पनि मिलाउनु पर्यो. Similarly, the spelling should also be correct, right? So if you don't get everything right, you get partial credit. Go 55 मा 30 आउला 20 आउला, depends, you know. So if you get
miss
everything,
a word,
if you miss a word, then also you get deduction, right? So 55 मा 50 आउला, कतिवटा word miss गरेछ त्यही अनुसार उले AI ले marks दिन्छ, हैन? So it gives scored based on that.
Okay.
But it's an easy thing, okay? It's easy because
okay, sir.
you can practice and you achieve it, right? But another difficulty is a lot of people have difficulty with the spellings, right? So that is also, spellings are also, and how do you learn the spellings? The best way is of course to read a lot, okay? And I what I also tend to do is I give like links to people for readings, and after I finish the after introducing everything, especially I also give a reading collection. So I'm going to give that to my registered students within like tomorrow or day after tomorrow. I give things to read out, you know, so that you can practice reading for the next whatever months you have for the class. All right. What else? What other questions? Please. I'm all yours for like next 2-3 minutes, okay? Waiting for questions. Okay, everyone's silent. The question time.
So for essay templates,
Right.
for every kinds of essay, we have different essay templates, right? According to the essay types.
Depending on the essay, right? I think I've given templates
Mhm.
for most of the templates for you though, yeah.
Yeah, you have given, but we have to practice and like memorize all those templates for the exams, or
I mean, the
or
templates is not official, you know, it's like I created those templates so that it's easy for you, right?
Mhm.
If you can write a
Okay.
better essay without using that template, then that's fine, you know, no problem. But I created the simple things so that it's easy for my students.
It's just for practice.
Yeah, it's just for practice, right? So you need to do that, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You haven't sent me enough, okay? So I understand your work is like,
Yeah, I know.
it's like super busy. So what that means is,
Today
you know,
I have.
I want you to start practicing in next 2 days, right? So even this time, right, 8:15 to 9:15.
Mhm.
Once you get introduced to the topic, I've given you all the tips and techniques. So in 2 days, you know, instead of coming to the class, I want you to be practicing, right? Because this is a vital time,
Yeah.
very important time. 1 hour, you can do a lot, right?
Yeah.
So it's instead of like coming to the class, you could have written down an essay in 30 minutes, and another 30 minutes you could have practiced right from dictation, right? Do you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, and you
Yes, sir.
implement what I've taught, you know, the instructions that I've given. That's
Mhm.
how it works, right? Instead of coming to the class
Yeah.
for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you know, like the way they organize the
Mhm.
classes online, I find it really stupid, you know. Generally, right? They take like weeks to finish like general introduction, and they give the techniques like really
Yeah.
late. They don't allow the editing of the writings, and they expect the
Uh,
students to score well. It doesn't work, you know. जसले जति
Yeah.
क्लासले पनि स्टुडेन्टहरूको दशा जस्तै हुन्छ स्कोरहरू होइन. It's the same thing with like
Mhm.
other kinds of education classes as well, right? We go to the PCL, whatever nursing you did, whatever business you studied. I
Mhm.
mean, the way they teach, like we just never learn, you know. It's like whatever you know, and then additional things, there's no contribution, right? Because
Mhm.
teachers are not really taking any responsibility for the students. All right, so I guess I'm gonna wrap up. I hope you guys had a good class. And tomorrow for Jamuna and Ganeshi, we're gonna discuss a few different ideas, okay? At least from 5 different topics. We'll discuss the ideas so that you won't feel, right? When you appear the exam, you won't feel like, oh, I don't know what to write about, okay? And hopefully
Yeah.
that will also motivate you to write more, okay? So I haven't gotten enough
Mhm.
writing. I'm gonna edit
Yeah, I
Ganesh.
have completed already actually, but I haven't sent it. So
I mean, you need to send it, right? You complete it, you don't
yeah.
send it, doesn't work, okay? So I'm gonna edit that tomorrow because it's already 9:30 late night, all right?
Sure.
All right,
Okay.
Alisa and Sakuntala as well. Thanks for attending the trial class. I hope that was a good experience for you. And I've recorded the video. I might upload it in my I guess I'm trying to create a new YouTube channel, so I might upload it over there, and you guys can just see and decide as well. All right, Alisa and Sakuntala, you got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. Okay, so please make a judgment just based on this. I mean, please don't request another trial class. It's just not that
Okay,
I
sir.
don't find that professional, right? Because एक महिनाको क्लासको लागि दुईटा तीनटा ट्रायल क्लास दिएर त it doesn't work that way, right? So maximum like 3 weeks मा सकिने क्लासमा कतिवटा ट्रायल क्लास दिनु, right? I hope we have been able to figure out the proficiency that I have or I don't have. Whatever we have just out, it's no big deal. All right, have a good night, everyone. All right,
Okay, sir.
Good night, sir.
You too. Have a good
bye
night.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Nice.